or take away your truth.
The book's available in a number of languages, and unfortunately I can't speak Dutch, so I haven't seen the copy for myself, but if there have been any translation errors, I'm sure the publishers got it under control. For me, I edited and wrote the English version. There's never been a version that I've produced that has...
I do believe that Meghan is writing her book.
Right.
I do believe that will eventually come out. That's how that will be their meal ticket when the Netflix money goes, and that'll be a huge sensation because...
Hello, everybody. So, as you know, in the media, that's been a big thing right now, is talking about Mr. Scobie's book called Endgame. And to me, it's a form of bullying, and I cannot believe a publisher allowed such book to be written. With that said, the way that he wrote about William and Kate and Charles and Camilla is despicable, in my opinion. And this man, I'm guessing, has never met them, and therefore he judged a book by its cover. And that's wrong. He's a Press Hilton wannabe. I'm going to be honest, and I love Press Hilton, deepest respect for him. But what Mr. Scobie did backfired. You see, a good journalist is going to look up facts. A good journalist is going to get a hold of the actual people who know the person or them, the actual person themselves. But a lot of times, if they're going to turn them down, they're going to the sources, let's say friends or family. Well, they turn them down. Now you have to go to the middle person that may know them and take it with a grain of salt. So with that said and done, I want to share a story with you all because unfortunately with media can be good and bad, and media has a lot of stereotypes that a lot of people listen to it, unfortunately. So this is a story about how I knew William and Harry, but this is more a Prince William story. When I met him on 18 June 2004 at a polo club where I was a non-playing member, and that day was the annual polo ball. Lovely experience. It's only for members, whether you play or non-playing. So the weekend before, I went to a house party, and this lovely polo player had asked me for sex. I turned him down, and he wasn't very happy about that. In fact, I became friends with the chick that, the gal he was having a liaison with the entire summer. And so her and I showed up to the polo ball, and I remember I had a black dress from Zara, which I still have, and the shoes had, they were strappy heels, a little butterfly on the side. I kept those all these years, so I can give you a description. My hair was blonde, and I had a ponytail, okay? So I showed up looking fabulous, and I had a champagne glass in hand, barely had anything to eat because I was waiting at the hotel for my female friend to show up. So we get there, and the polo player was just not in a good mood, drank way too much, and he was saying a lot of very unkind things about me to his friends because he did not know me. You see, the problem with what I'm trying to explain to you was he listened to what the media had made a stereotype about women who show up to polo. And you all know, if you read the news, the media for years has said, women show up to polo to go meet William and Harry. Therefore, new fresh meat for these polo players. And unfortunately, this polo player listened to the media instead of really getting to know the person. Because I randomly showed up to polo one day. Well, I knew of the club because the previous summer I showed up for a polo charity cup. Prince Charles had played, now King Charles. And I got to meet him. I have a photo with him. He and I had a wonderful conversation, about 5 minutes long. And I fell in love with the club. It's a beautiful club. It's a safe area, very kind people. And yeah, it's a great place to go to. And I highly recommend it because everybody's just so kind there and treat you right. Well, him and another person in the group, unfortunately, took what the media said because women show up. And I don't know if it was jealousy or not, but they took advantage of the women. And I don't think William and Harry have no idea this went on, by the way, because nobody says anything to them. And not even all the friends knew. It was mainly these two people. And out of respect, I will not out them because, I've moved on from that. I have deepest respect for them. But at the time, we all were in our 20s and silly. So meanwhile, he was drinking a lot and saying unkind things, calling me a bitch, for example, because I turned him down. And then he had audacity to say, Rachel's here to meet Prince William. I'm doing some acting there. And he told the people at the table. Unbeknownst to me at the time, William was sitting at the table, and so were his friends and Kate. Now at the time, this is 2004, it's 18 June 2004, William and Kate were dating. I knew of them dating, not the media, because the two people that I spoke of earlier had told me. Actually, when they dropped me off at my hotel, the 2 weekends prior to that, when I came to Polo, sitting on my bed, and they were telling me like, you can't have William because he's dating Kate. I go, okay, I did not fancy William. I nor did I fancy Harry. I showed up for Polo for me. That's it. Nothing. It's simple. There was no, oh, I want to meet William and Harry. Is nothing. But, man, these polo players are very fit. I will say that. Anyway, so with that said and done, that night he was just calling me all these names, and it got to the point, this guy in a baseball cap, he had a blue vest on with a Lacoste, I think, that little alligator. I remember a light blue shirt and khakis. By the way, I wrote everything down in my yellow journal, so I remember the description like 100%, so that's why. And he lifted his head up and he says, polo player, I'm not gonna say his name, polo player, that is enough. Apologize to her right now. So he rolls his eyes and says, I'm sorry, Rachel. And then he went to go to the bathroom, the loo, and the guy says, Rachel, he knew my name at this point. He says, I've heard so much about you. Why don't you sit down here and let's have a chat? And I'm like, okay. And so he said, there's a lot of rumors being said about you, but here's the thing about me. This is what William has said to me. He said, oh, but I forgot to mention, it was William. He said, oh, my name is William. Forgot to mention that part. Well, I'll say that after. So he said, there's a lot of rumors going around. I don't listen to gossip. I rather get to know the person. I don't judge a book by its cover. That's how Prince William is, how anyone should be. And it was so lovely because it was the first time the entire summer anyone took interest in me for who I am, not because I am a woman. And he treated me with respect. And then he introduced me to everyone at the table, including Kate. And honestly, I would like to say Kate Middleton is such a lovely person. And I remember the following day she even checked up on me because I showed up to Polo. There was a charity event because we all were drinking. And she said, how are you feeling? I was worried about you because, well, we all had a bit of a drinking game. I'm not going to go into that, but Prince William, did dare me to drink vodka. I admit that. He said, well, Americans can't drink. And I said, well, I can drink. And I kind of did a little too much, so I cannot drink vodka anymore. But, again, we were in our 20s. We were silly. But anyways, that's my story about William. And for Mr. Scobie to write such rubbish about the royal family is ridiculous. He doesn't know him. And you're talking about, oh, well, somebody mentioned about the skin color of Archie. Oh, my gosh. You have, Meghan Markle, who is biracial, by the way. The baby is going to come out very beautiful regardless. It's curiosity. Look, I'm curious about what my kids look like. I'm Native American or indigenous, tribe, Tuscarora, Caucasian, and Ashkenazi mixed. I was curious because my grandmother had beautiful olive skin from the Native American side. My grandfather had no pigment. He had red hair, very white with red pigment to it, of skin. And my Ashkenazi side, well, curly hair. But you see, I got a little olive skin tone. That's from my Native American side. Of course I was curious. And my kids came out with more of the Native American side skin pigment. And that's awesome. There's nothing racist about that. So this needs to stop. And Mr. Scobie, really, I think he should be done as a journalist at this point in time. Because what he did was despicable. And I'm shocked that a publishing company would allow a book like this to be published. Back in the day, real journalism had facts. And if you didn't have facts, you would not be able to publish it. So, all right, my lovelies, have a lovely day. Final thing about Salty Vixen. The name Salty Vixen came from England that night, actually. And that's a story for another time. All right, goodbye.